Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Today's film, Them That Follow.
My daughter has turned into a fine girl, and a good man has asked for her hand. We're a community, son. She can't be a part of you no more.
She ain't listening to the spirit.
The serpent will purify you.
There are limits to what I'll let you do to me.
It's co-written and co-directed by Britt Poulton and Dan Madison Savage, both making their feature film debut. Congrats to both. The cast includes Caitlin Dever from Booksmart, Beautiful Boy, and Detroit. Walton Goggins from Ant-Man and the Wasp and The Hateful Eight. Olivia Colman from The Favorite, Murder on the Orient Express, and The Lobster. Lewis Pullman from Bad Times at the El Royale, Battle of the Sexes, and will be in the upcoming Top Gun Maverick, due out in 2020. And Thomas Mann from Kong Skull Island, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, and will be in the upcoming live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp, though I'm about 80% sure that's going to be on Disney+. So unless it has a theatrical run, brief or otherwise, I will most likely not review that. So just a little heads up on that in the future. It's hard to say how I feel about this one. On the one hand, I don't think there's anything in the movie that makes it inherently bad, but it also doesn't exactly leave a huge impact, and more than anything, feels like just another forbidden love story with extreme religious overtones. But let's start with positives. I want to extend my deepest apologies first to Alice Englert and contributing to the marketing that does not seem to credit her as the main star. She's the one with the character arc, the one that the story revolves around. So, I'm so sorry, Alice Englert. You are gypped from top billing. You deserve it. I get it, Caitlin Dever and Olivia Colman are bigger stars, but they are very support characters. With that said, she's not bad. She's also not that great, but that's more out of the writing rather than her acting or even the directing for that matter. But we'll talk about that later. But that's not to say that there isn't a good foundation for a good character within Mara. Mara lives in a deeply religious and male-dominated community, deeply rooted in tradition, but she's starting to have doubts. Bear in mind, she's not married, and she's not carrying the baby of the man that she's betrothed to. So as you can probably tell, this is one of those liar reveal type stories. We all usually know how those go. At some point, the truth gets out, we do a mope and dope kind of thing for the third act, and then everyone gets together, but this movie actually doesn't do that, and I actually appreciate this on many different levels. Mara understands what kind of place she lives in. She understands the community that she is involved with. Fanatic Christian types like this do not take kindly to their traditions being subverted, and usually spells a life of misery for those that are otherwise not bad people. Mara knows this, so we understand why she wants to keep this a secret, and we hope that her secret never gets out, even though we can figure out that it will. So, I give props that this movie utilizes the liar reveal story in a much better way than even technically better films do. Most of the cast does a pretty good job too. Olivia Colman, Caitlin Dever, Thomas Mann, they do well with the stock characters that they're given. Colman probably standing out a little bit more. For me, I would say that there are two standout actors in this movie. One of them is Lewis Pullman. He plays Garen, who's supposed to be the one that Mara is betrothed to. He starts off as a really nice guy, but as the story progresses, You can see him devolve into becoming what a quote-unquote husband is supposed to be. Domineering, teaching Mara how to be a wife, and that sort of shit. But I admit that this is both infuriating and tragic. But I mean that in the best possible way. Because he's being molded by Walton Goggins' character. And now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually one of the bigger reasons why I respect this movie. It shows the subtle, almost surgical corruption of religion and how it turns good people into perversions of themselves. But this wouldn't be a proper review if I didn't mention Walton Goggins, who is far and away the best character in the entire movie. He plays the celebrated preacher of the community and is also Mara's father. This dude is amazing. He just eats up the scenery no matter what scene he's in. He's inspiring, he's uplifting, he's radical, but underneath that surface, you see the monster that he kind of is. Judging other parents on how they raise their children, manipulating others into being what he perceives they should be. He's a total nutcase, but he's kind of subtle about it, and every time he's on screen, your skin crawls. It's fantastic. But that's all I gotta say about the positives, so it's time to talk about what I didn't like. The biggest problem with this movie is the writing itself. I really wanted to say that Englert was a great actress in this movie, and despite that she does a passable job, there's a reason why I say that she doesn't do a great job. The writing is what hampers her performance. The reason why is because we don't really get enough of her internal struggles. We understand the concept. She is pregnant, and she is unmarried. She is the daughter of the preacher. It's not a great situation, obviously, but I feel like there's not enough of her questioning her religion. There's not enough of her asking questions or even just expressing, this is what I don't agree with. She happens to be in great company all the time, but she never seems to open herself up. This isn't to say that she's an overly weak character. There is a scene where she talks to Garrett and says, there are limits to what I will allow you to do to me. But that's one of the problems, is that there's not enough of that. The movie also has this weird tendency to introduce plot lines. Like, there's a scene where Walton Goggins' character talks to Dilly, played by Caitlin Dever, and it's like, your mom made a choice, she left our community, and just abandoned you, and you think this is going to go somewhere, but it really doesn't. There's another scene where Dilly tries to talk to Garrett, and Garrett is plastered, drunk off his ass, and it looks like he's about to come on to her because he's unhappy with his marriage to Mara. This also doesn't go anywhere. It's like you're trying to tease a sexual assault scene, but not following through with it. I don't know whether this is good or bad. Already having one of those scenes is a hot button topic, but to tease it is like you want to go there, but you're afraid to go there. At the end of the day, it didn't need to be there. Ultimately, I can see a lot of people watching this movie and saying that it's boring, because not a lot happens. There's not exactly a lot of extreme imagery. You have to be invested in the performances, and if you are, then you might get through it okay, but other than that, this might be a hard sit for a few people. Can I just say that this is not a happy ending? I mean, here you have Thomas Mann's character, Augie, who literally takes a snake bite in order to demonstrate his love for Mara. He almost dies. He gets his arm chopped off by his own father. This boy suffers, all in the name of love. And even though Mara does at some point in the end, take him to a hospital away from the community to possibly live a happily ever after, I'm curious what exactly the plan is. At the end of the day, what a stupid message. Get bitten by a snake so you can demonstrate your love for a woman. Man, I wouldn't be happy if I was Augie. Like, really, that's what it took. That's what I had to put myself through in order for you to like me. Okay, yeah, this is gonna end great. I may not recommend this to be seen in theaters, but I will say that it is worth checking out at some point, maybe as a rental, or if it comes out on Netflix or some streaming service. I do think it's worth checking out, if not for the acting alone. So my honest rating for Them That Follow is a 3 out of 5. Reviews for the week include Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. That review is already up, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Upcoming reviews include Loose, and if there's time, I'll put up a review for 47 Meters Down in commemoration for its upcoming sequel, Uncaged. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.